About contracts, I remember in a post a long time ago, you mentioned people offering another person's body parts to a spirit for their own gain. How come contracts like that even work when the person didn't give consent to that? There's the assumption that consent is necessary. Now, before I do work for a third party, I like to have their consent because if they aren't consenting to me working on them, I'm basically doing witchcraft, right? I'm basically doing witchcraft on a person that's like that might want to die, and I'm sitting there prolonging their life. Okay, that's why I need to have that third party consent. If I take the third party out of the equation, I just go to the client and go, oh, make my grandmother live another 50 years. Like, okay, grandma lives another 50 years, but she's on life support and she just wants to die and can't. Okay, consent isn't necessary. No one needs to, when someone's coming up to rob you, okay, does the robber go, okay, I need you to consent to this robbery. All right, now I need you to consent to handing over your money. All right, none of that's necessary. Consent is not necessary. Okay. In the past, when people have come to me and said, oh, I want you to heal someone for me. And I'm like, well, does this person know that the healing wants to take place? And they say no. I go, well, I'm not going to do it without their consent because I'm not a witch. And because I don't know, that person might have a death wish. And I'm just making their lives even more miserable. Okay. Maybe they're so against the idea of voodoo that even if it saved their lives, they would feel as though they were spiritually contaminated for the rest of their life. That's why I don't do things without consent, not because consent is necessary. Right. The polite robber. Excuse me. I need you to consent to me need you to consent to me taking that bike from you. Okay, consent is just an assumption. It's a fantasy when you live in a world where you're afforded so much protection, right? You can have this fantasy in your mind that consent is a necessary thing. Consent is politeness. That's what it comes down to. I'm not saying that you should be violating other people's sovereignty. I do believe that individuals have the rights to their bodies and happiness and all of that, and I don't believe it's right to take those things from someone. But I'm also the same person that's going to say, listen, consent's a fantasy. Okay, it's not real. We do it out of politeness for other human beings, and we want to be good to other people. So it is good to seek consent before doing anything. Now, yeah, I could offer up another person in the same way I offer up a chicken. No one could say anything about it. It's that's how those contracts work. You give me, I'm going to give you that person's left arm to eat, okay? And in exchange, you're going to give me power and you're going to teach me witchcraft. That's it. That's all that's necessary. If you have a spirit that's willing to do it. And you'd be surprised how many ghosts are willing to gain a little bit of autonomy and give you a little something to do harm. What about another loophole where you make a contract for a spirit to prevent any other spirit from doing that? I mean, this is a funny thing about spirits, all right? And this is dealt with spirits that were not friendly to me, I'm speaking strictly from personal experience. I've dealt with spirits that were not friendly with me. I've got excellent spirits that have guarded me against like serious injuries. I've had more than enough experience and yet things still do get through sometimes. All right. Um, you're never going to find a spirit that's going to be able to do all of anything because they are not omnipotent, they are not omniscient. Okay, they don't know everything, they are not all powerful. All right. And sometimes even if you have a really powerful spirit, a big spirit that's really big and strong, little ones can still slip through the cracks every now and again. So, but yes, we do have guards that help us for those reasons. We have the rings and all that, and they will signal to us when something wrong is taking place that is beyond their abilities to deal with. That's why we should seek consultation when we are getting signals like, hey, something's not right. It's not like if someone tried to do that to you and you had no protection, and generally the people that are most likely to do it and get away with it are going to be family members or friends that have a close tie to you. It's family members that sacrifice other family members. Okay. like across the board. People will sacrifice like a generation just so they can enjoy wealth for a single lifetime. All right. There are people that are not afraid to end their family line just so they can have a little bit. So, yeah, but even when you have guards, they're not foolproof. Doesn't mean they're not, doesn't mean they don't work miracles, but things sometimes slip through. But the guard will let you know when there's something going on that's bigger than what it can address. Like they get hot, they'll feel uncomfortable. Like every time you put on your ring, it feels like, oh, I want to just take it off. Why does my finger feel swollen? And you're getting stuff like that when you have a guard. That's how you know you need to get a consultation. You mentioned miraculous healing in your house and family. Has there ever been an illness that a spirit was unable to heal? Not with people that have come asking for healings. I haven't had one personally. Like if someone comes for healing, the spirits heal them, you know. Um, Mouth pain is generally very difficult. Don't know why, don't know what it is about teeth, and but when there's like mouth pain related to a tooth, it's really hard to manage that pain, as I'm sure you've known. The spirit can help manage the pain, but that's about it. The way cancer works is cancer is unchecked growth, meaning that there's an imbalance in the systems, the system made of systems. So when we have this unchecked growth going on, it's an imbalance taking place. When we heal, we're restoring the natural order of those systems so that unchecked growth will stop and the body will reabsorb what the problem was. That's why healing is so reliable. What's your general take of practicing with spirits of various traditions, like working with laws, angels, demons, gods? Do they work well together? Are there certain combinations you should never combine? Um, See if I can explain how I personally look at it. I I don't segregate my spirits, but at the same time, I don't put them in a situation where they could potentially compete or interfere with each other when it comes to doing a certain task. Now, if I have a big task that I'm trying to accomplish and I want to set different spirits on that task, I will give each of them a portion of that task to do, a clearly defined portion. All right, like I'm trying to get a new house or something like that. Like, hey, I need to make sure that I have enough money to do that, so I want you to manage my money. Hey, I need to make sure that that I'm thoroughly protected right now while I'm doing this work so that nothing can come along and cause financial distress for me, and so on and so forth. And I'll break up a task into a lot of different pieces and set different spirits on that task. Okay. One of the ways they all will more or less ignore each other because they're working in, so to speak, in like from different dimensions. They're not all occupying the same space. That's the best way to put it. They're not all occupying the same space. They're aware of each other, but it's not that they're at war with one another. They're just different energies, and it's like water and air. So, they pass through each other, but they don't necessarily interfere with each other. Nikki, let's see. You mentioned about sacrificing a family line. You meant people are literally sacrificing their born children or making a contract to give up ever having children. Both and. The answer is both and. There you go. It's both and. Sometimes they're sacrifice, like literally committing a human sacrifice, like physically, and then there are ones where they say, I that they are disavowing their relationship to the living family members, and they're letting spirits eat them, or they're giving up their ability to have children. So it's yeah, it's pretty wild stuff. Pretty wild. Oh, wait, Martin's got one more. Are there certain types of spirits we should always avoid petitioning based on your experience? No, you can work with anything you want to work with. Just know that some spirits have different temperaments. Don't go petitioning a car mechanic to do to fix your AC for you. All right. Make sure the temperament of the spirit and the specialities of that spirit is compatible with what you're trying to do. That's it. You can petition anyone you want to petition. Just make it make sense. People do like silly stuff all the time, and you know, applying the wrong for yeah, you can work with demons if you want. They're fine. They just remember they're destructive. Like, you wouldn't evoke a demon to build a business. You would evoke a demon to take out your competitor. Well, I mean, people say that they are popular. But I mean, all right, so I've worked with Sayer, I've worked with Paimon, I've worked with Asmodeus, right? And I have like ongoing relationships with the last two. Um, the higher up demons are like the kings are very reasonable spirits. They're not like necessarily out to get you, but when you start going through the lower ranks, it can get kind of hairy with them. So, but you can work with anyone you want to work with. I would always recommend that you divine before you do anything. All right, I am going to get out of here. I've got to use the restroom and my voice is getting really hoarse. So, you guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. And there will be more uploads coming this week. Have a good one.